kids, you can tell by our kids, you know, these kids, we really worked so hard all year long, and it hasn't always paid off the way you'd like to. And today, like the Indiana game, you know, everything really was in sync. We just really played well over a really good team. I think you got to put the Michigan State's got an extremely talented team, but they're young. If they had those two big kids that were hurt, they'd be a much different team right now. And they don't have really good hurt players, and that is really difficult to have the consistency you'd like to have. But anytime you can beat a Tom Izzo coach team, it is a good thing for us. That means that we're doing the right things. We're trying to just be the best basketball team we can. Great crowd tonight on a rainy 9 p.m. game. We have no more 9 p.m. games, right? Correct. And apologize to you for all that, but maybe if you're a team in the middle of the league or projected to be in the middle, you get rewarded with 9 p.m. games. I guess that's incentive to have better teams. So at any rate, just we're elated with it. I know that as the season goes on, that's a very valuable win because Michigan State will continue to win a lot of games, and at the end of the day, they'll be in the mix in the Big Ten and in the NCAA tournament. So huge for our guys. Can't say enough about Derek Walton right now, of just the transformation in the last month. If you remember, he came in with a star-studded team, and then he was sort of forced into being a leader probably when he wasn't really ready to do that. When we had the injuries his sophomore year, the injuries to Karras in his junior year, and to Spike. And now I think he's finally comfortable with all that experience he gained through the time to really play with that extra that you need to be a really good player, especially a guard. But as I said, he's become so strong with the ball. His left-handed finish there at the end is something he's worked so hard on, and we're just really proud of him and everybody.
Right in the middle with Kevin, Coach.
Coach, this team seems to be picking up a knack for responding by starting out hot after facing some adversity in prior games.
Yeah.
And how do you kind of string that into a
Yeah, I've
consistent
never
play?
been able to figure that out. You know, teams will come out. I think it does happen when somebody, you know, just we make a couple baskets. There is this relief, I think, that all right, we're doing all right. And I think with it's like I think the old adage is when you're playing like 2-for-1 basketball and you say, okay, any shot's a good shot, they make it more often. When you see other guys making shots, you relax and you make more shots. Right? You got to make those first few two, and we made some great plays in those first two actions, and scored baskets, and we just kept going from there.
Andrew?
X had arguably his best game
Yeah.
of his career. Were there signs that this was
Yeah,
going?
there's been signs, slow signs, but Sadie Washington's done a great job, and he really suggested that he play more today, and he also suggested we just simplify his package, right? He understands everything we do, but the timing of it is still just a little bit off, and when you're just a little bit off with Michigan State, they'll get in the gap, or they'll either get a hand on something, or they'll be physical with you. So we tried to really shorten his package today when he was in there, and he was really good at it. But Sadie Washington, again, that was my idea. That was Sadie all the way.
Derek said practices this week were more intense than they are usually, and he said if you didn't match that intensity, you probably weren't playing. Did you notice that?
Well, we have been, ever since the Michigan State game, the loss there, we haven't been happy with, you know, not taking that next step, pushing through a ceiling that some of us have. And and then we go to Ohio State, and, you know, Ohio State played great. And we almost did. I mean, we almost played good enough at the same time. And I could see when I told you guys, when I saw the Ohio State film on Sunday morning, I was ready to really get upset for 2 or 3 hours, right? And I watched it and I said, you know what? We made some steps in this game, even though the result wasn't good. But our practice intensity has been nothing but intense from the coaching staff and everybody else. They understand there's another level we can play at if we practice it every day and we work at it.
Right on over here with John.
Just kind of following on that, you said it's, for Derek, it's as, you know, as well as he's played,
Mhm.
but is it as maybe a more confident and forceful than he's played?
I think it pays off again. He put in a summer with himself that was Stauskas Levert-like. He just worked and worked and worked. And so it's a big reason. I think he's got confidence now that he can take shots that, you know, he was always a low percentage two-point shooter. And so he worked at that. He worked at left-handed layups with a guy pressing on, you know, with a dummy on him and things like that. He worked really hard at this. So with that hard work comes the confidence. And so he's really playing just with a lot of confidence right now.
Far right corner.
John, sticking with Derek, he said that this one felt extra special because the last time Michigan beat Michigan State, he was more of a supporting player, whereas this one, he felt like he kind of led the way. So just, what was it like in that locker room with a roster that's comprised mostly of guys who haven't beaten their rival before?
Yeah, he and Zach had 2 wins their first year, but that was it. And, you know, the last couple of years, we've been trying like crazy. We haven't had the same continuity on our roster we'd like to have in order to win those games, but also Michigan State is a great program. And so it's just for them to get, for him, you know, wearing blue all over the city of Detroit, right? That's important for him to just, as he goes through this, it wasn't about, hey, I remember a freshman when we were able to beat you. He could do that now, and who knows where the Big Ten tournament lands us or whatever. It could happen again. But I know that he feels really good representing his home state and being a kid from Detroit, beating Michigan State like that.
Over here on your left, Wogan.
Now, the way your team came out, was there some desperation there, partly from where you are in the standings and late in the season, or was it more the rivalry in which you guys were up against?
No, I think both. I think it's a great question. I think it was both. Our kids are looking at this thing, and they have had a couple of games that you look back at. We watched the Ohio State game for an hour, and just the things that we could do better. But I said, guys, there's no games important. But you only get 3 home games. You get 5 on the road left. You get 3 home games, 5 on the road. Every home game, you're not going anywhere if you don't win some of these home games to prepare you for the road. And so I think they understand that. I've said before, Bob, I said one of the best things that happened to us is making the NCAA tournament last year. Sort of, you know, we with losing Karras and still making the tournament, that was a tremendous achievement by them. But it also hurt us because you go into that summer and some guys are thinking, well, we're just going to be naturally good. Derek Walton didn't have that attitude. He really went after it.
Brendan, back.
John?
Yes.
Speaking with Mo Effort, he admitted that, you know, he can get a little bit chippy at times. It says that he sees it on film and stuff that he does. What do you think of that aspect of his game?
Well, I love it. You know, he with him and DJ as well. DJ needed to be more passionate in his play, you know, coming in here. But Mo, and he is now, and it was a little bit too passionate today. But Mo has to be able to put it in the right direction. And so, you know, he's plays with everything he's got. We don't want to rob him from that. We need that very, very badly. But you don't coach him in practice every day, and you see that there's these moments that he will just get too excited and just leave a man wide open or just throw the ball away. But it's less and less, but it's what's going to make him a great player. I'd rather have a guy with that edge, a guy with that type of passion and dial him back than have to, you know, grow the other guys and saying, you're not going to win without enthusiasm.
Over here with Sean.
John, sorry to keep going back to Derek, but Tom said he thought Derek played, I think it was the most important game of his life. I'm curious what you.
I don't know that, but knowing Derek, these games mean a lot to him, and he's very proud, you know, to be a Wolverine. He's very proud to wear the maize and blue. And so when you're playing, and he knows all those other guys on the team, he's played against so many of them. There's a lot at stake for him, probably individually, that he wanted to make sure that whatever happened today, he was going to give his best.
In the middle with Mark.
What are your emotions like when you go into a game? Because with this team, you never know what you're going to get. You're going to have a game, and when you go into a game and they're that hot at first, I mean, does it change things in your mindset?
Well, yeah, I mean, believe it or not, I don't like getting huge leads. It is really hard. It is really hard to coach the second half. But everything was clicking, I don't know what I feel other than keep playing, we gotta keep attacking. How can you keep attacking without giving them opportunities to come back? And that was on my mind all the time, whenever you have a huge lead like that, just don't let these kids take their foot off the pedal right now. But don't get crazy either, and don't get into anything that could, cause you any other issues. So that was my mentality, but trying to strategize what's the best way to beat them.
When you know, like going to a game that you're different, that you're on that day,
When do I know it?
Well, with the team, sometimes, like
Yeah.
with the 14 team, you knew that every game they were gonna pull it out or whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't know those things. I know that when I go into a game all the time, I don't know what to expect. I don't know because, and now with this team, this is true. You could be pretty consistent about guys are gonna make shots, but what type of edge are they gonna play with? That's hard. And is the edge too much that they get drunk, emotionally drunk during the game? And so you worry about that a little bit. But today was like perfect. They were right there. They were angry. They were junkyard dogs. That was the whole idea. The picture of like a Doberman that I wanted to go out and play like. I think it was a Doberman, but he had big teeth. And we got to go out there angry and play with that edge that we so desperately need.
You showed them a picture of the dog
Oh, yeah, I had the picture.
in your locker.
No, it was, we had it up on where I do my talk, I showed it to them, but I showed it to them a couple days ago, I've showed them dogs before, a whole lineage of poodles. Some people play like this, and this is who we gotta be, but that's another story.
Chris?
DJ's technical, obviously, you don't want that, but is there part of you at least that says?
No, I like that that young man has been here for 3 years, and he's just playing right now. And he's being able to do things he dreamed of right now, national TV. But you just can't go in a guy's face like that. Those days are gone. But I do like that he showed a great emotion. Just do the same thing, but run down the court and look at your teammates like that. So it was a good call by the official. As I watched the replay, it was definitely, a call that they should make. We can't have people doing that every time they dunk on somebody. We'd have a lot more trouble in basketball. So.
We have time for a few more. Adam, right in the middle.
John, kind of piggybacking off where Mark was going as far as strategy and when you know you're on, when you know maybe you're not on. Have you ever had a team throughout your career that can be so hot and cold? When you guys are playing well, you can play with anybody. When you don't play well, you
There are ups and downs in the season. There's been other teams, to answer the question, there's been teams that have been able to do this. And we just gotta get that consistency, but it's finding out, like I said, Xavier's play today was huge for us to get more minutes out of a guy and maybe get guys a little bit more rest so they continue to have that edge through the game. But no, when you coach long enough, you're gonna have teams like this that you don't know what to expect, and I think that's true in the NBA and baseball and football and everything. You love the consistent ones, the New England Patriots and teams like that, they're in that point. But we look at an NBA game and you say, how did that team just lose that game when they just played so well the other night? It's part of sports.
follow up.
Yes.
When you look at these guys this year, kind of assessing the risk to reward. I mean, there might be a big risk, they get hot and who knows what they can do. Do you ever think about
We
that?
gotta get to that point where we can do that, but I made the point to them, they're 5-6. Michigan basketball was 1-6 one year, and was a shot away from maybe going to the Sweet 16. So it's very possible for them to take these 6 losses right now and go with it, with 5 games back. Now, 7 games, 5 on the road, it's gonna be hard, but the chance for quality wins in front of us, what an opportunity we have right now to grab quality wins along the road. We got two more home games, both nationally ranked teams, and 5 really tough road games. We gotta look at it, not challenges, these are great opportunities for us.
We're gonna close with Noah and then Ryan.
John, in terms of the forcing the shot clock violations,
Yeah.
that you guys did in the first half, and how does that speak to, I guess,
Yeah.
the preparation and the scouting, with being
I
prepared for
mean,
what they were doing?
we had a short turnaround,
Yeah.
and we really tried to keep them fresh, and we showed them every basket on Sunday after the Ohio State loss. When we moved to Michigan State after our Ohio State, we watched a half an hour of every basket they scored against us. And just wanted to make sure, besides our scouting, we just wanted to really feel the flow of that game. And that was Billy Donald's suggestion. And watching them score 30 or 40 times, I forget how many field goals they had, I think sunk in on these guys, but we could have avoided that one, we could have avoided that one. Here's what you would have done to avoid that one, and I think it really resonated with it. So give another assistant some props.
You were talking about watching Michigan State scoring baskets.
Yeah, and
from
our,
the first game.
up there, every game, it was no there was no offensive clips. We just watched basket after basket after basket, and how did that happen? And they could look at it and they say, okay, I see, I could have done that. And it was very it was very informative. It wasn't, it wasn't a fire and brimstone. It was, here it is, guys. Now, you can all change that, make up your mind if you wanna change this thing. Or do you wanna go and have them beat you like they did again, on your home court?
Ryan, you wanna close this out?
Sure. Coach, I want to ask you about the psychology of coaching from here. You mentioned showing videos of Poodles to Dobermans, but against Michigan State, it might be a little bit easier to gin up that kind of energy and emotion. How do you sustain that going forward with the same kind of sense that you can repeat what you did tonight and do it against anybody?
Well, I think that you sort of build off of this, and when we show the video of this, we will show, it won't be the shots. It will be the defense that led to the fast break, right? The steal that led to the fast break, the block out that led to the fast break, the great screen that got somebody open. So it will be, these are the little things that even educated people don't understand happen in a game that change games. I told the guys before that we gotta understand that there's this extra edge to it that's gonna make you play like that. Is it Edelman catch, right, was like I was texting to everybody, because we've been talking about the secret sauce here of just, there's this other edge for you guys. And that focus, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna find a way. And we gotta get that across, and find a way to win these games. And we can, because we're just, watch us. I mean, every game, road games, we're ahead in the second half, and all of a sudden it's, we're almost there. Now we gotta change that.
All right, Coach.